Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to QBL Round 10 action between the Ipswich Force and the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. It's your QBL Game of the Week presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. My name, as always, is Regan Baker, and I'm joined in the commentary booth with your lead commentator for the night, John Guana, and as always, superstar Dan George.
Dan George, the former Seabowl All-Star, also QBL champion. Dan, it's been a while to see you in the booth. Thanks for coming back. We missed you.
I know, I've missed being here. Just life gets in the way, and we're all busy, obviously, but I have missed coming along and watching basketball for the last fortnight or so. And I mean, to come back to a game like this, both the men and the women's tonight, they'll both be great matches, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah,
this women's matchup is a battle for the second and third spots. Ipswich comes in at 8-1, sitting in second place currently. Just closely behind them are the Sunshine Coast Phoenix at 10-2 and third on the spot. Interesting matchup here tonight, Dan. We see it right off the tip. It's Abby Bishop and Amanda Johnson. That's going to be a key to this game. You see defensively already Ipswich switching out Maisie, and that's going to have the Bishop assignment to start the game at least.
And I think that's smart. And she's such a great rebounder, as we've seen, pulling down 15 a game or so is Amanda Johnson, just dominating the glass in the QBL this year. But I think that's smart. They don't want her in foul trouble, and she'll spend her time guarding Abby Bishop, I'm sure, but a cross match to start with probably helps Ipswich, I think.
Ipswich a few weeks ago was pretty much humbled at home here versus the Townsville Heat, losing that first game of the season. As we see a foul, the first foul on Abby Bishop, pushing Johnson in the back. So that's her first personal, the team's first personal. But Ipswich really wants to come out and make a statement tonight after laying an egg really against Townsville a couple weeks ago.
They sure do, and I think games like that are going to happen. It's a long season, the QBL year, so you're going to have a night, maybe 2 or 3 nights during the season where it just doesn't go for you, but you don't want to do that 2 weeks in a row or 2 matches in a row at home, rather. So coming out against a third-place team who have a couple of superstar players on their roster, the Ipswich Force will be ready to come out and put their stamp on this game early.
Yeah, Phoenix, probably one of the hotter teams in the competition at this point in time in the season. As we see a three-pointer there from deep from Amy Brown. First points of the night from the Phoenix. But when you have players like Nat Hurst and Abby Bishop, you are going to be contenders in the QBL.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I mean, those two girls are amazing players in WNBL, overseas leagues, let alone the QBL. So they're going to put up numbers. But some of these other girls have been really impressive too, just going on the box score. So it's good we get to see them in person tonight and see what they can produce.
Bishop from 3, back-to-back threes, gives the Phoenix a 4-point lead. And I think that's in one area that we've seen Abby Bishop really increase her output. She's shooting the ball with confidence from deep. On the season, she's hitting at a fairly respectable 39% from deep, as Johnson answers on the other end from deep as well.
These girls are just so skilled. I mean, Abby Bishop in warm-up, when he's draining threes, barely missed, shooting 40% on the season, putting up 7 assists a game. Just men or women, doesn't matter, just basketball. She's one of the most skilled athletes we've seen in our broadcast in a while. We saw her last year with Rocky and this year on the coast, but it's just so good for our league to have players like that involved. And in saying that, some of the lesser known players that we may not be aware of, like some of these girls with Ipswich, equally as good, and they're up for the challenge tonight, I'm sure.
And one of those players, Georgia Williams, out there. She started the season on the bench, now in the starting lineup. Johnson give and go, pass deflected by Hurst. Mate driving, left-handed layup is good. That's a really nice take there from Rachel Mate.
She's always impressive. Every game we call for Ipswich, she's never a superstar, but just does everything really well. Just a very solid player for Coach George and his squad over there.
Bishop double teamed, can't get the layup to fall. Ipswich now looking to run, they're up 1. Mate's floater misses, but Johnson there to follow up. Pace is pretty frantic to start, Dan. It's a 9-6 lead for Ipswich with 3 minutes into the game.
And you would have to think, just looking to the benches, the entire Ipswich bench is full, whereas the Phoenix have 3 girls sitting over there. So you'd like to think that for the Ipswich Force, this up-tempo game really suits them, given that they've got much more depth than the Phoenix. But in saying that, some of these Phoenix girls are obviously ready to go. So I'm sure they can put up big numbers
Yeah,
for 40 minutes tonight as well. Sorry, John.
No, you're right. Coach George is going to take a timeout after that Hurst jump shot. We'll take a quick one as well. 6:42 left in the first quarter. It's a 1-point lead for Ipswich over Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. 9-8 the lead here for Ipswich early. Pretty interesting time out there taken by Coach George from the Force.
I like it. I mean, Coach George, not that I've never met the guy, but to me, he always seems like he's on his game. And I think he saw Nat Hurst come off an on-ball wide open for a jump shot. And they've obviously spoken, we're going to guard the on-ball a certain way, and they didn't do it, so he's called a timeout. Well, I think it's great coaching.
Correct it when you see it, rather than letting it hang around. I like it too, Dan. Bishop again from three. It's wet.
She is so good, mate. We were just talking about it in the break. I mean, that stroke just looks pure.
Quick release, too. Really impressive. Keeps it nice and high, and it's out of her hands just when you think she's loading up. It's already out. A couple of deep buckets from Bishop. Ipswich now has it with Johnson. Maisie Annette throwing up a hook shot that's off. It's pretty good defense there for Phoenix. It's Georgia Berry on the contest. Bishop again from the wing, almost the identical spot. This time it's off the front of the rim. And here's Johnson showing off her skills. She's multi-talented as well. Maisie Annette gonna fire from deep. It's short. Chases down her own rebound nearly. Tipped it to Johnson. Farley has Bishop on her with 6 on the shot clock. Gets it over to Mate. Gets her feet in the paint. Flips it up. It's too strong. And here comes Hurst.
You got to find Abby Bishop trailing. Oh, great pass.
Good pass. Cannot finish, though. That's Saunders with the miss. Maisie Annette going to fire again from deep. That one's off the back of the rim. Hurst, three-pointer, rolls in and out. Phoenix like to get it up from deep.
They sure do. I'm just sitting here thinking how fast-paced this game is, John. You said it a couple of minutes ago. It certainly hasn't slowed down yet. These girls are going to work out here, getting up and down the court.
No subs for either team either, yet. Johnson hits her first three. It's a 4-point lead now for Ipswich. 4:20 to go in the quarter. Here's the screen and roll. Bishop with the hesitation dribble, flips it up. Doesn't fall, but she's fouled, so she'll get a couple shots. And it's that quick fake one way and then just rip. And that's a very basic move, but it's super effective.
And it's so effective because you just knocked down a couple of trays. So, of course, they're going to run up and close her out long so she can't get that jump shot off. And so skilled, she's put it straight on the floor and gets to the rim. That's a tough cover.
When you have someone, she's the tallest player on the court for either team, can play inside and out. There's really not much that Abby Bishop struggles to do on a basketball court. Checking in for Ipswich, Meg Essex, seeing her first minutes of the evening. Bishop hits 2 free throws. Also checking in for the Phoenix, you've got Caitlin Clancy. Clancy coming off a season high last week in 22 points in a big win against the Spartans. And Spartans were playing some good ball, so that's a huge win for the Phoenix last week against Spartans.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a great win.
I think that's the one that really put Phoenix, even with that 10-2 record or 9-2 record, that's the one that really stamped themselves as true contenders, Dan. I mean, the Spartans were playing some great basketball. And for the Phoenix to pick up that win just really shows that they're more than a two-person team. As you can see just by the statistics, they did a good job on Bishop and Hurst, and they had some of those secondary players like Clancy step up. Kate Head on the floor as well for Ipswich. She's got the Hurst assignment. Three-pointer miss there by Courtney Murphy. Maisie Annette throws it up with the left hand. It's off, but there's a foul on that one. That one's going to go against Courtney Murphy. So Maisie Annette going to go to the free throw line where she shoots just over 88% on the season. GG Maisie Annette hits the first one. Pretty tight game so far, about 6.5 into it. Maisie Annette hits them both. So it's up to 4 the lead for Ipswich. About 3:30 to go in the first.
And both coaches go into their bench, John. And this is, I think, Ipswich's chance to try and, with Abby Bishop, when you just hope she misses a play like that. It's fairly well guarded, the on-ball, but she can either roll or pop. And in that case, pop for an open jump shot. Just couldn't knock it down. But I think with Ipswich, that's such a nice move, too, on the other end from Johnson. But I think what I was saying a second ago before I got distracted, John, was I think with both teams going to their bench, this is Ipswich's chance to maybe put some separation into the game. You know, you're in 7-8 minutes into the first quarter. It's been high paced. You would hope that their depth can come out and bring some energy. But in saying that, the Phoenix have some depth for themselves. But look at this.
And Clancy hits a 3, and Caitlin Clancy, player we've seen for a few years now in the QBL, coming off the season high 22, coming back in with a bit of confidence. Maisie Annette spins inside and banks it home. Ipswich really likes that matchup with Maisie Annette inside. She's capitalizing on it. There's a timeout taken on the floor though, so we'll take one as well. 2:43 to go in the first. Ipswich up 5 over the Phoenix in your QBL game of the week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back at Llewellyn Stadium, it's a 5-point lead for Ipswich. Good timeout taken there by the Phoenix, just to reset and give their, I think they more so to give Hurst and Bishop a breather.
I think so too.
Hook shot short from Bishop. Rebound by Essex.
And back into a zone too, John. That's the adjustment out of the timeout. And that might be to give Ipswich a different look. It might also be to try and preserve some energy here, especially for Abby Bishop, who's up and down the court, burning a lot of energy, and she's going to have to put up big numbers for them to get a win tonight. Whereas Ipswich are looking good offensively at the moment.
Johnson there with a nice jump shot. She's just another all-around talent. It's a really good matchup. And you see Bishop double teamed right away. Clancy puts it on the deck, flips it up with the left hand. It's too strong. Tipped around and Head comes down with it. And then fouled from behind by Amy Brown. I like that zone offense also, though, from Ipswich. They hit the elbow, then the short corner. Those are the two spots you want to hit.
No doubt.
And you look at it, easy jump shot for Johnson. That's like a layup for Amanda Johnson.
Yeah.
What are the keys when you're in a zone Dan, when you play the 2-3 zone, it's really to force teams to beat you from the outside, isn't it?
Defensively?
Defensively.
Yeah, I don't know, different teams run it for different reasons, but I think you've got to accept that if you're going to get burned in a zone, it's going to be from the perimeter. You can't give up O-boards, can't give up layups. But if Ipswich come out and shoot like they've been shooting, like we just saw then, they're going to have to get out of the zone pretty quickly.
Nice adjustment on the offensive end, putting Hurst inside as well on the post, which was nice. She scores, and the lead is 7 for Ipswich. Maisie Annette flipping it up with the left hand. That's too strong. Brown comes down with it. Clancy open for 3. That one's too strong. Tipped by Farley. Here comes Kate Head. It's a 3-on-2. Head takes it all the way and lays it in. It's a nice finish there from Kate Head.
Great finish, yep. Heading off to college overseas in a couple of months. She's obviously confident and playing well. And look at Abby Bishop. She's just going against 2 or 3 girls every possession. And
Brown's passed out of bounds. Abby Bishop really wanted the foul on that one. It was a nice double team. Maisie Annette did a good job getting there on the turn and really established herself defensively.
yeah, and, I mean, Abby's got every right to be frustrated, but it was pretty good defense from our view. And I think one of the challenges when you are the focus like she is for both her own team and the opposition's defense is that she's going to have to work so hard for every possession. So hopefully the Phoenix can find ways to get her some easier looks like we saw earlier this quarter as
nice
we see her
baseball
Kevin Love
pass.
impersonation.
That was a good pass. It went through the hands of Hurst. So there's 17.4 seconds left. Ipswich able to hold for the final shot of the quarter with a 9-point lead. Doing a really good job defensively as well, Ipswich here. Super efficient offensively, but defensively,
They really are.
I think they've really shown in the first quarter.
Yeah. And that was a good pass from Abby Bishop. Obviously just went out of bounds. Natos couldn't make the catch, but the risk is they could have held it for the last shot and maybe gone down at worst 9 points. You give us a chance to come back and you would expect Johnson to hit 2, maybe all 3 of these at least. All of a sudden it's a 13 off 14-point game at quarter time. It's a big difference to 9 points. So good pass, but the clock management questionable maybe for that possession of the game.
And a bad foul too, because that
Terrible
was a tough
foul.
shot
Yeah,
for
sure
Johnson. She was double teamed on the wing,
Yeah.
pretty deep. You could see it coming. Foul went against Clancy. Johnson missed the first, but hits the second. Wonder if Phoenix will get a shot off here with just under 2 seconds to go in the quarter. So 2 of 3, puts the lead up to 11. There's another baseball pass. Hurst catches, flips it up, and she's fouled on the other end.
That's a veteran move right there from Nat Hurst. I'm not sure that, and Kate Head will learn like she does every game, but Nat Hurst did a great job at drawing the contact. Let's just say that. But a smart veteran move.
No, there was definitely contact.
There was,
so
no doubt. But I think that's also why you got to try and make them always be aware and make them catch it in front of you. You know, if it goes over the top, there's always the risk that you're going to put the referee in a position where he has to make a call, which he made the right call then, I think. But it gives Nat Hurst a chance to really draw some contact and use her veteran experience.
And they're putting a second on the clock, which is quite interesting because Hurst caught it, put it on the floor, got a bit of space. I'm surprised they put another second on here, which is why we see everyone line up.
Well, I think they can put a second on the clock manually, then they're going to have to try and, automatically, and they have to try and manually get it down to 0.2 or 0.3, whatever it is that they've decided remains. So this could take a while.
This is where I question why we're doing this, because there's really the referees are watching the game. They're not watching the clock, so how you know how much time is left is baffling to me. And in that instance, it was a foul. It was 1.9 left. Just let it go out as far as I'm concerned. Regan, is there anything that are you responsible as a referee to know the clock as well?
Yeah, you absolutely are. And in situations like this as well, you realise that the minute you call the foul, you do always have the clock in mind in the far corner of the backboard or the court or wherever it is. But typically speaking, the score bench is a part of the refereeing team, and they would have asked the bench if there should have been time left. they've obviously decided that there was 0.3 seconds left. But to be completely honest with you, in a situation like that, it's the first quarter. Man, I would just play that on. Hey, unless one coach goes completely up in arms, I would not bother.
Well, Nathurst hit all three. It was a big foul because that cuts the deficit to 8. Really exciting first quarter of action, Dan, from both teams.
Sure was. Great basketball. Both teams put on a show for us, and it's just a start. Another 3 quarters ready to go.
All right, well, it is the quarter time break, so we'll take one as well with Ipswich up 8, 29-21 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. 29-21 the lead for Ipswich over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Dan George could possibly be suiting up in a couple weeks' time. Dan, that's pretty exciting.
Well, the viewers will be oblivious to the invitation, but anyway, the Ipswich Grammar School Old Boys game is on, and I've got a call up. This is exciting. I'm gonna have to get in the gym and practice.
Man, you're looking fight and fit. I think a QBL roster spot might be opening for you after the Old Boys display. Maybe you're gonna show out. I'm sure of it.
It's all about attempts. I will get them up. But anyway, the game we're watching here, the Ipswich Force, Amanda Johnson, first of all, 14 points and 7 boards in the first quarter. Are you kidding me? Like, those numbers, just goes about her business quietly, but I mean, the stats don't lie. That's impressive. But more impressive to me, or maybe equally as impressive, Ipswich Force have 1 turnover as a team with 8 assists. It just shows that, I mean, Coach George has got them playing really efficient offense and really good quality basketball. So good signs for them. And I think from the Phoenix's point of view, and they've got 3 girls who all played 10 minutes and 11 seconds, which is impressive in a 10-minute quarter. But, I mean, they've got a couple of girls. As we know, Abby Bishop and Nat Hurst, who are the focus points, but the other girls are contributing well too. Rebounding the ball and Clancy knocking down a 3 ball. So it's almost 2 contrasting styles. This well-rounded Ipswich team versus the two stars from the Phoenix. So good basketball ahead tonight.
Bishop got to the free throw line, hit 1 of 2. She's been pretty impressive as well, but I think Ipswich doing a good job, and Bishop, veteran player that she is, can recognize the double team on that possession, spinned away from the double, and still got her shot off, which was pretty impressive.
I think you got to make a really quick move when, you know, as Johnson goes to work. I think you got to make a really quick move when you know there's double team coming, because if she holds the ball for 2 or 3 seconds, she's going to be double teamed. Makes it hard to score, but you know, if she can catch the ball, quickly shoot, quickly put on the floor, whatever she wants to do, but it's got to be a quick decision.
Tipped out of bounds by the Phoenix, so possession stays with Ipswich. Have you been on any teams, Dan, where you were playing that 40 minutes consistently, or close to that 40 minutes?
In terms of players who like Nat Hurst and Abby Bishop,
yes,
who play the whole, yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think when you know that you have girls or guys Nice finish too, by the way, underneath.
A great finish there by Amy Brown on the reverse. But
Yeah,
I want to get your insight on playing those big minutes. You know, how does it affect you when you're out there playing 35, 40 minutes a night?
I think it changes the style of play your team can operate under. So I don't think the Phoenix can go up and down all night long if they've got two girls playing 40 minutes. It's just going to make them too fatigued, in my opinion. Not to say these girls aren't fit enough, but it makes it hard to do that when the other team is fresh and rotating players. That's the first thing. But then secondly, it does make you aware of defensively, especially as we see a nice pass from Nathurst just picked off. It makes you, in my opinion, defensively more aware of the fact that I can't foul because I need to play 40 minutes. So maybe you're not as aggressive defensively as you otherwise would be, which isn't a bad thing, but obviously you want your girls to be up and aggressive on the defensive end. So maybe like an Abby Bishop might pace herself defensively, knowing she's got to conserve some energy. But I think if your girls or guys that are playing 40 minutes are young, that's different. But when they're as experienced as these two, they know how to manage a ball game to get themselves through to the point where the last 3 or 4 minutes they're right there to compete for a win. So,
and the Phoenix doing a good job hanging around. The deficit at 7 at this point. 7.5 to go in the first half.
Well, I think when you're playing the top 4 teams, as we see tonight, 2 of the top 4 teams, I don't think the Phoenix want to come in here and blow Ipswich out. That's unrealistic. As we see, a really nice move, and the shot just rims out for Nat Hurst. But I think if they can probably in their minds come in here and be within 5 or 6 points with a few minutes left, and they've still got their 2 girls on the floor, not in foul trouble, they're happy with that. So it's a matter of them just pacing themselves and getting through. As we see, Abby Bishop with a short closeout there, probably exhausted. But I think the Phoenix are running a good style of play, but Ipswich are so fresh and so efficient that this could blow out a little bit if we're not careful from the Phoenix point of view.
Yeah, Bishop taking some deep breaths inside. Williams fouls on the defensive end. But Ipswich, the switch to the zone hasn't affected the switch at all because Ipswich really picking apart the Phoenix zone.
Yeah, they sure are.
9 points the lead for Ipswich. Bishop open, 3-pointer is up. That rolls in and out. Saunders has it stolen by Johnson. Let's see if they get the foul on. That one's going to go against Nat Hurst. It's her first personal, the team's first of the second quarter. 6.5 to go in the half. 9 points the lead for Ipswich, and Johnson going to get a breather, like what Coach George does here too, swapping out the import for the import. So Maisie Annette checking in for Johnson.
Yeah. So
you don't really lose too much with Maisie Annette coming in for Johnson. Mates 3 is off the back of the rim. Here comes Hurst. Now Bishop wide open, top of the key 3. That one's short. O'Board is stripped by Mate. Heads pass stolen. That's a really nice recovery there by Brown. Brown on the baseline. Her jumper's too strong. Tipped out of bounds off of Williams, so it's going to stay with the Phoenix. Under 6 to go. I think both teams feeling it a little bit here, Dan. Settling for jump shots, and they're all coming up a bit short, aren't they?
Well, I mean, Abby Bishop's one of the best players in the world, let alone the QBL, so she knows how to play the game, obviously. But I think if I was coaching the Phoenix, I'd be trying somehow to get her some looks in the paint. I mean, she knocks down a jump shot there. The last couple of threes weren't quite there for her. And I just think if they're down, 6, 8, 9 points, let's run something to get her an easy look inside and see if she can get herself to the foul line and get her going that way. Stop the clock so she can catch her breath. Just try and manage the game a bit more that way rather than relying on her knocking down jump shots, which is hard when you're also playing 40 minutes and your legs are fatigued.
Pass inside is nearly stolen, recovered by the Phoenix. Jump shot is off there by Courtney Brown. Williams going to fire from the wing. That rolls off the front of the rim. A couple of quick shots here from Ipswich as well. They looked a lot better moving the ball side to side against that zone. They're settling at the moment for a 1 pass and a jump shot.
Yeah.
It's really working in the Phoenix favor.
Nice offense right there.
Great offense and a good pass and finish there by Bishop from Brown. Bishop's fouled, and she's going to go to the free throw line. And that's just simple basketball, though, Dan. That's the basic play. Give and go.
Yeah, sure is. And it's not a set play, nothing that anyone's ever going to draw up, but it's just two players with a good basketball IQ making something happen. But it's good. She's getting into the paint. And this is what we said. Get to the foul line, stop the clock, let her catch your breath a little bit. And bring a chance to bring it back to a 4-point game as well.
Got to say, I do like those sneakers that Abby Bishops is wearing. The old Peak Sports, looking pretty good.
Peak's making a run in Australia, huh?
Yeah, got quite a few athletes. Matty Dellavedova, one of them. Didn't have his best game last night for the Boomers, did he?
Well, how does Australia lose to Japan? That's a talking point around the water coolers on Monday, Johnny.
What a spin move by Johnson. She comes up short, but definitely going to be a talking point. I think Boomers would be disappointed in that result. Japan played probably as good a game as they possibly can, though, and they only won by 4. So if you're going to take anything out of it, you're going to think you took the team's best shot. Clancy flips one up with 3 on the shot clock and gets it to roll.
Well, and you can see the signs that Clancy brought last week against the Spartans in that big win for the Phoenix, coming into tonight's game as well, knocking down the 3-ball earlier, get into the paint. That's a tough finish, so good signs for the Sunny Coast if they can get contributions like that from her. And
that bucket by Clancy cuts the deficit to 2, so it's a timeout taken on the floor. We'll take one as well. 4:11 to go in the half. And Ipswich up 2. New QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. 2-point lead for Ipswich. Sunshine Coast fighting back in a 10-4 quarter, so the scoring has definitely slowed down a bit after a pretty high-scoring affair.
Equally as entertaining, though, Johnny. Less scoring, but still great to watch. There's some great athletes out here tonight. Abby Bishop showing off a handle. Thought about pulling up.
She wants it in the post. She was calling for it.
Well, I think that's where they need to go, and a quick move. Because we can see the double team is going to find her straight away.
Yeah, just a bit too casual on the pass there from Courtney Brown to Clancy. That's an unfortunate turnover. But you see the Bishop, so the double team is coming every time she catches it, no matter where she is on the floor.
Well, they need to start her on the wing and back screen her to the post or something so she's getting it on the move. Because you can't double team her if she's cutting through the key. But if she runs to the post and just stands there and gets position, you can run a double team on the catch. They've got to try and get her on the move to catch and make a quick finish or a quick move once she catches the ball.
They're looking for Bishop inside. Doing a good job on defense is Amanda Johnson. Hurst hands off for Bishop with 4 on the shot clock. She gets inside. Gets it to Brown at the free throw line. Jumper's too strong. Essex, good rebound. Here's Mate. Over the captain, Farley.
Good no call.
And Essex hits another long jump shot. She's come in far in with confidence.
She's making a great contribution.
Hurst has it on the wing, guarded by Manamaluga. There's that screen and roll. Bishop, good skip to Clancy in the corner for 3. It's short. Those are the ones that, if you're the Phoenix, you really need Clancy to hit, as Manamaluga throws up a wild one.
Yeah, you do. And I think, obviously, you need contributions from more than 2 players, so you can't say don't shoot it. You have to give her confidence and say, man, if you can get that shot off especially after what we saw from you last week at Southern Districts. You got to shoot the ball, and hopefully you can knock some down.
Johnson gets a long rebound, but you're 100% right, Dan, and I think that's their offense. They know they're going to have to shoot the ball because Bishop and Hurst have been getting double teamed. I'm sure it's not just tonight, probably every game they play.
Yeah, as we can see Abby Bishop leaking out here, getting herself an easier bucket.
That's good early recognition there from Hurst as well.
And an easier bucket, still to make a tough catch, dribble with a defender and finish on her left hand. That's not easy, but an easier look than getting double teamed like she's had the last few possessions.
There's some nice ball movement, leads to a Farley three. It hits the front of the rim. Amanda Maluga with the offensive rebound and put back. And that's going to be a timeout taken by the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Coach Mark Hauser, I thought it was a timeout.
It should be.
Bit of wet on the floor underneath the Ipswich basket. There is that timeout, so we'll take one as well. Ipswich up 37-33 with about a minute to go in the first half. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. 4-point lead for Ipswich. It's been a tight second quarter. Phoenix are up 4 in total in this quarter. They come out with the trap, and Johnson steals it and finishes with an easy layup. So a nice look out of the timeout defensively.
Yeah, it's certainly caught the Phoenix off guard. Really nice move there from Ipswich Force, and got himself a cheap 2. And in a game this close, second versus third, every point helps. And I mean, that's a nice move from the Phoenix. Just couldn't quite get it to stick, but good pass, good cut, but sometimes it just doesn't come off.
Yeah, a little too strong there for Hurst from Bishop. It's a turnover, so Ipswich going to work a little clock here. We got about 35 to go in the half. There's 10 on the shot clock for the Force. Head gets the screen. Instead goes to Johnson. He'll pull up. She'll pull up from the baseline. Jump shot's too strong.
Yeah, the Force are just starting to do some damage on offensive boards here too, John, the last couple of possessions.
Mate gets inside, floats one up. That hits the back of the rim. Bishop comes down with it. Phoenix can hold for the final shot.
Oh my God.
Hurst takes a quick one.
I don't think she knew she had as much time as she did.
Farley kicks ahead. Johnson is blocked.
Oh, wow. Got it off.
Gets another one off that hits the front of the rim. That's a nice block for the Phoenix to keep the deficit at 6. 39-33. Pretty interesting sequence to end the half there. Hurst probably just didn't. She heard her team counting down. Maybe just didn't hear what digit they were at.
Yeah. Well, she would have been aware that there was not much time left, and well, she still got a decent look at it, and she could have dribbled another 3 or 4 seconds and been double teamed and not got a shot off at all. Who knows? So they got the look that they got, but good quality first half, Johnny. 6-point ball game. Both teams showing really good signs. So good basketball Ipswich tonight, and looking forward to a big second half.
Definitely looking forward to a big second half. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some halftime statistics and the second half of action between the Ipswich Force and the Sunshine Coast Phoenix here on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back here at Llewellyn Stadium, as the Ipswich Force are leading the Sunshine Coast Phoenix 39-33 with about 1:40 to go. It was a very interesting first half. Take a look at the statistics for the Ipswich Force, shooting 37% from the field, only 3 of 17 from 3. But they do have 30 rebounds, 11 assists on their 16 made field goals. They're being led by Amanda Johnson. She's got the double-double at the halftime, Dan. 16 points, 12 rebounds, just real force inside for Ipswich.
Just dominating. 16 and 12 after 40 minutes is a great night at the office, let alone after the first half. And especially when you consider that one of the best bigs in the world at the other end of the court in Abby Bishop. And I think for both teams, I mean, the Phoenix have 5 turnovers, the Ipswich Force have 2. Both teams are just playing really good quality, efficient basketball, and it's no wonder we're looking at 2 of the top 4 teams in the league.
And Bishop leading the way for the Phoenix. She's also got 16 points, 8 rebounds. Nat Hurst, the next leading scorer, though, for the Phoenix, she's got 7 points, also 4 rebounds and 3 assists. So pretty well balanced. I mean, you have the 2 standouts with 16 apiece, and then a good contribution across the board for both teams.
And Abby Bishop's had 5 foul shots, Nat Hurst 3, which was that last possession of the quarter, of the half. So without those, Abby Bishop's the only girl going to the foul line really for the Phoenix, which to me says they're shooting a lot of jump shots, which is either a good thing if they're making them, but as their legs get heavier, as the game gets longer, you might want to get to the hoop a little bit more and not rely on the jump shot on the road to get a win against such a good Ipswich Force team. But like we've said, both teams playing really good quality basketball, and we're in for a very special second half coming up here.
Yeah, it was a great first half. 6 points the lead for Ipswich. As the second half gets underway, both teams going back to their starting lineups. It'll be interesting to see how Phoenix counter, see if they're going to stick in that zone.
Nice move from Clancy to get things started. Couldn't quite finish, but nice move.
I said both teams went back to their starters. Neither team actually has all their starters out there. It's Clancy's in for the Phoenix, and you see Meg Essex on the floor. Pretty interesting. She had a good first half, but I thought Maisie Annette was quite good. We haven't seen Maisie Annette for a little while here for Ipswich.
I thought she was really good too, and I think she's been good for most of, if not all of the season.
Georgia Williams beats the shot clock there for a 3.
I was going to say maybe they're looking at the fact that Abby Bishop's playing such big minutes and she's going to be the reason the Phoenix win or lose. So maybe it's a way for Coach George to keep their bigs a little fresher, bring in a really good quality player off the bench to replace Essex here in a few minutes' time and just keep Abby Bishop working with a constant stream of fresh players. I don't know, maybe that's the reason, John, but it's a luxury as Williams goes back-to-back to get things going for the Ipswich Force.
And back-to-back 3s for Georgia Williams, shooting it with confidence. Ipswich up 9 now. What a block there by Johnson on Saunders. Saunders saw the bucket but didn't see Johnson coming from the weak side.
Which is hard given that it's a fluoro green hairstyle flying at you, but I mean, she's been doing it all, Johnson. 16 and 12 at the half, a big block there. Really putting a stamp on this game.
Bishop, deep jumper is short. Another rebound to Johnson.
I mean, she's going for 20 and 20 tonight, at least.
Well, she's very close to it. Thought about the 3. They're going to get Abby Bishop for the reach-in. It's going to be Abby Bishop's second personal, the team's first in the third quarter. Let's see what Ipswich has on the baseline out of bounds. Williams from the opposite wing puts up another 3, and again it's nothing but net. That's 3 straight 3s from Georgia Williams. The lead is up to 12.
How heartbreaking for the Sunny Coast to come in and you've got, you know, Johnson giving you 16 and 12 and a half and all these other players, and then Georgia Williams comes out shooting the ball like that. But Abby Bishop knows what her team needs and doesn't settle for a jump shot, gets to the rim. A much needed bucket, but Georgia Williams, my God.
Georgia Williams is Nat Hurst light at the moment for Ipswich. She's got the last 11 points for the Force. Bishop goes inside Fadeaway jump shot is good from Brown. Amy Brown with a nice bucket there for the Phoenix. Essex goes inside to Johnson. She misses a straight up layup. Now Hurst kicks ahead. They work it around the perimeter. Clancy has it. She gets inside, blocked by Essex. It looks like there was a foul before the block. See, they give that one too. Looks like it is going to go against Amanda Johnson. That's Johnson's first personal, the team's first in the quarter. Essex takes a breather. Maisie Annette checks back in. Clancy at the free throw line for 2 shots. Clancy hits them both. So go back and forth a little bit here now. The deficit's 8 for the Phoenix. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ipswich taking a bit to get into the offense here. Williams fouled there by Bishop. It's going to be Abby Bishop's third personal now. She picked up 2 so far here in the third quarter.
Yeah, 2 quick ones, and that might force the Phoenix back into a zone maybe to try and protect her a little bit, but she cannot pick up a 4th foul here with almost 7 minutes left in the third quarter.
Ball's knocked out of bounds off of Saunders' leg, so it's going to stay with Ipswich. They've got 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. They go right inside. Maisie Annette step back jumper is good.
2 points for number 12.
Let's see the Phoenix men's team just below us here. Don't forget we will have the men's matchup between the Sunny Coast Phoenix and the Ipswich Force just shortly after this women's game concludes. And I think they're going to get, thought it was going to go against Bishop, but they're going to give that one, it looks like, to Nat Hurst for the moving screen. Trying to get Abby Bishop better position inside.
I didn't have a good look at that one at all, so we'll have to just trust the referee's call there. But at least the Phoenix are trying different things to get different looks. But thanks completely to Georgia Williams. We're looking at a 10-point game here for Ipswich, and they've got themselves a really nice cushion when it looked like the Phoenix were ready to make a run.
Here comes Williams off the screen. She drives baseline, step back jumper is good. Georgia Williams is feeling it in the third, folks, and the Force are up 12. Hurst reverses her dribble, hands off for Bishop. Now back to Hurst, good little action here. Bishop looks inside.
Great pass, amazing.
There's 3 on the shot clock. Phoenix have to get it up. Saunders' jump shot is good. Nice hit there by Natalie Saunders. Johnson, deep 3 is short. Off the front of the rim, now Clancy has it. No one checks her. She throws up a floater. It's too soft.
She almost could have taken one more dribble and just finger rolled it on the front of the rim, but no one for Ipswich stopping the ball on that occasion. Lucky to get off the hook there with a missed jump shot.
Farley working against Clancy. Pass stolen by Hurst.
Stolen by number 16, Natalie Hurst.
Good transition defense, though, from the Force. Bishop uses the hesitation dribble. Now Hurst again with 13 on the shot clock. Brown turnaround jump shot is good. It's a nice hit there again from Amy Brown. She's given him a good contribution here in the third.
Sure has.
Williams steps into a wing 3. That was a heat check. Misses Johnson, though, offensive rebound. Out to Farley's corner 3. That's good. They're going to call it a long 2 from Farley. The offense has certainly picked up in the third as well. Bishop going to fire a 3. That rolls in and out. Maisie Annette, they let her fire the 3. That one hits the back of the rim. Brown hands off for Hurst.
We'll see what Nat Hurst runs here. I just get the feeling this game's been frantic, up and down. I think the Phoenix need to slow it down and grind out a couple of long possessions here and really work hard to get Abby Bishop some post-ups. Or if not that, get Nat Hurst to the rim. Something on the ring in the key is what they need, but a lot of jump shots for them at the moment.
And I think Coach Hauser recognizing that's going to take a timeout, give his troops a breather. They're down by 10, 56-46 the lead for Ipswich. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. 56-46 the lead for the Force over the Phoenix. Pretty good timeout. Looked like things were getting a little tired, a little lethargic for the Phoenix there. They just need to regroup a little bit.
Yeah, and basketball, as we all know, is a game of runs. Ipswich are going to make a run, and they've made one here. So great timeout from the Phoenix just to settle things down and maybe get their focus on what it is that they're looking for as Kate Head gets to the rim and shows why she's college bound at the end of the year. But we'll see what the Phoenix come back with and what is their focus. I think post-ups or key entries is going to be what they're looking for here, and not so many long jump shots and not so many turnovers.
That is a turnover, a little miscommunication there from the Phoenix. Different look defensively from the Force, dropping back into a bit of a zone as well. So miscommunication leads to the turnover. Ipswich now with an opportunity to increase the lead. Maisie Annette has it stripped by Bishop.
To steal there by number 5, Abby Bishop.
Hurst from the elbow, jumper.
That's tough.
2 points
That's
for
just
number
smooth
16,
too. You
Natalie
can't do anything to
Hurst.
stop that.
Nothing.
It's almost like she just felt, I haven't done much, let me get myself involved.
I'd love to see her try and take control here. I think she's done a good job of getting everyone else involved. Might be time for her to start carrying the load offensively for a few minutes.
Good
She's
defense.
certainly very, very capable.
And he's looking to push a little bit. Johnson picks up a cheap one.
Fouls there on number 11, Amanda Johnson.
Johnson's, it's her second personal, the team's second as well. So referee's doing a good job letting them play here tonight also. Got to give the referees a lot of credit.
No doubt. This has been a very, very well officiated game. As the Phoenix knocked down a corner three, and that timeout certainly paying dividends straight away.
Yeah, Amy Brown again from 3. She's had herself a big third quarter here as well. Deficit for the Phoenix is at 7 at the moment. Maisie Annette working against Bishop. Flips one up, misses. Fight for the rebound. Hurst comes down with it. Hurst steps into a wing 3. That's good.
3 points for
And the lead cut to 4 now for Ipswich. Coach George not happy with what he sees on the floor, so he's going to take a timeout. We'll take one as well. We're under 2 with 1:54 to go in the third. And Ipswich up 4 over the Phoenix in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. Force coming back out of a timeout as Sunshine Coast has cut the deficit to 4. It's an 8-0 run for Sunny Coast. Let's see what Ipswich does coming out of the break. Johnson puts it on the deck, kicks it out to Mazianet. Mazianet gets inside, dumps it down low. Johnson layup is good. That's a tough finish there from Amanda Johnson. Didn't look pretty, but effective.
I was going to say, very tough finish. And they were able to get 2 points out of that offense, obviously, but I just feel like the Phoenix's defense has stepped up a level here as well over the last couple of minutes. Isn't it amazing how when you're doing well offensively, how your defense is just that little bit tougher?
Hurst looking inside.
That's a heck of a pass.
A lot of contact. Bishop chases down the rebound. Hurst fires from the wing. That one short. How about the no-look bullet pass, though, from Hurst?
Amazing.
Not to the person, to the spot, too. I love that.
That's right.
Johnson gets it in great position. Spins, triple teamed, out to head for 3. It's up. It's just off the front of the rim. Good recognition by Clancy to slow things down. They might go 2 for 1 here, the Phoenix. Bishop skips it over to Clancy in the corner with 8 on the shot clock. Clancy looking to make something happen, gets it to Bishop. Pump fake, she's got to get the shot off. Layup is good.
Tough finish.
Good patience there, and now Ipswich can hold for the final shot of the quarter, up 4.
This is a ball game, Johnny.
It comes off the screen, looks inside for Johnson at the free throw line.
Does she know the clock? I don't think so.
Doesn't recognize it, flips it up, it hits the front of the rim. So poor communication there from Ipswich. Some couple dangerous signs for Ipswich. Luckily, it was the end of the quarter for them. They can regroup.
They sure can. But they made a great run, and it was Georgia Williams mainly coming out with 11 points to start the quarter. And it looked like Ipswich was going to kind of pull away, but a timeout from Coach Hauser, and they're right back into it. As we see the Phoenix men in the building. But we've got a big finish coming up, and Abby Bishop and Nat Hurst putting on a show, but it's all the other girls from up the coast as well, all chipping in, and big 10 minutes coming up to finish.
Huge 10 minutes to come up. It's a 60-56 lead for Ipswich. Quarter time break, so we'll take one as well on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium in Ipswich. It's the Force holding a 4-point lead, 60-56 at the break. It was a really tight third quarter, Dan. Phoenix won that one just by 2 points, 23-21. You take a look at the statistics. Abby Bishop now at 20 points and 9 rebounds. Amanda Johnson for Ipswich leading the way with 18 points and 16 rebounds. Georgia Williams, pretty quiet first half, but she's now the second leading scorer for Ipswich with 15 after that huge third.
Yeah, she was amazing in that third quarter, and Farley as well, knocking down another long 2 on that occasion. She had a couple of timely buckets for the Force, but well, we have a great game coming up. There's just a lot of very talented girls out there tonight, and I'm looking forward to this, but I think everything goes through Abby Bishop. If you're the Phoenix, she can either score the ball or create for everybody else, but well, she's got to get touches on every possession.
There she is, driving baseline, picks up her dribble. Pass is stolen. Mazianet now pushing up court. Goes right to the rim and lays it in. Good finish there from Gigi Mazianet. Saunders looks inside, passes tipped, and Mate comes up with the steal. Gonna settle things down here. Lead back up to 8 now for Ipswich. Head goes over to Johnson on the baseline. Working one-on-one against Bishop. Flips it up. Can't get it to fall. Gets her own rebound, though.
Johnson with her own rebound.
Hazy Knight hands off. It's stripped by Nat Hurst. Hurst recovers, goes right at head, and finishes strong. That's a nice sequence there from Hurst.
I think Kate Head did really well not to foul them. That easily could have been an M1. So good job not fouling, but Nat Hurst is really picking up the intensity here.
And there it is, an 8-second violation.
8 seconds in the backcourt.
That's frustrating as a coach, but you can see how frustrated Kate Head was as well on that play.
Well, Kate Head is a very good player, but she's also still very young. And so, I mean, her team needs to make her aware about the clock. If you see Nat Hurst, or if I was a big and I saw Nat Hurst up, three-quarter court, I'd go just set an on-ball in the backcourt, help Kate Head get the ball up, just give her some space. So whilst everyone looks at Kate on that occasion, this is a team effort to get the ball over the 8-second line.
Bishop gets it on the block.
Yeah, that's got to be a quick move as we see, but a quick double team.
That was a nice double team by Ipswich. They're really double teaming Hurst on the catch as well, so good recovery from Ipswich and nice high-low action. Johnson fouled there by Saunders, going to the free throw line.
Good foul too. You don't want to give up a layup on that occasion, but when you can just see the Phoenix just starting to struggle to score again. Ipswich have done a really good job for the most part with their defense. They know where the Phoenix are going to go to look for their buckets, and they've done a good job cutting that off. And when you're never going to stop these girls entirely, but if you can make them shoot poor percentages and make those shots difficult, you've done a good job, and that's what Ipswich has done for the most part tonight.
Just taking a quick look at the box score here. As Johnson hits both free throws, those were only her 4th and 5th attempts on the night. Pretty efficient from the free throw line. She's now 4 of 5. Pass tipped by Farley. Really active hands from Ipswich. Mate has her eyes for the bucket. Layup is good from Rachel Mate. And Ipswich doing a great job in transition. Really pushing the ball, getting a couple easy buckets.
They're doing a great job, and their defense is giving them those easy opportunities, John. I think the Phoenix, on the other hand, have to work so hard for every point they're getting, and it's just the sheer class of Nat Hurst and Abby Bishop mainly who are giving them their points, whereas Ipswich, as Abby Bishop just, I mean, we said in the first quarter, men or women, just one of the best players we've seen, I think, in the league, but Ipswich are getting much easier looks, whereas the Phoenix are working so hard for every shot they get.
Good position inside. Johnson fouled. That one's Brown with the foul, looks like. So Johnson going to go back to the free throw line. It's going to be on the defensive end, though, for Phoenix. They are, like you said, they're working pretty hard offensively, but defensively they're struggling to get stops here in the 3rd into the 4th.
Yeah, I agree, whereas the Fours are forcing turnovers and missed shots, and that's giving them some easier shots on the other end in transition, whereas the Phoenix are getting nothing in trans because they're taking out the net every possession. So if they can pick it up and get a couple of stops, it's going to give them some easier looks, and it means that these main girls they've got aren't going to have to work so hard for every point they're putting up.
Johnson's 2 free throws increase the lead to 9. Bishop one-on-one with Amanda Johnson. It winds up with Hurst in the corner. 3 is short. That nearly has her pass stolen. Johnson loses it but recovers. Good hands there by Bishop and better hands by Hurst. Coming up with another steal. Goes right at the defense. Layup is good. That's all class again by Nat Hurst.
Sure is.
It's a bit of education on the job here for Kate Head. Farley gonna fire a 3. That's nothing but net. Lead back up to 10 for Ipswich. Farley starting to pick it up here in the 4th as well.
She hasn't scored a lot, but the shots she has made have been at the perfect time. Right when Ipswich really needed a bucket, she's delivered.
Long three-pointer there by Murphy. Ipswich going to slow things down a bit. So yeah, I'm expecting a timeout shortly here from the Phoenix as Mate.
They need one right now.
Bucket. They're tired out there. You can see
they
it. They're
one
a bit lethargic.
I think they needed one a couple of possessions ago, but definitely now. You can see even offensively a little bit static, and Abby Bishop is just getting mauled.
Got a foul on number 4.
Gave that foul to Rachel Mate.
And number 7, Georgia Williams returns.
Clancy going to check back in. There is a timeout taken on the floor. Not sure if it was Ipswich or the Phoenix, but we'll take Phoenix take it. All right, so it's a 12-point lead for Ipswich. We'll take a quick break. And your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. Ipswich up by 12 with about 5 to go in the game. Phoenix taking the timeout. Clancy blocked from behind. Good recovery there, though, by Brown.
Great defense and good offense. Like Brown to follow that shot. A lot of girls wouldn't have been there, so give her credit, but good defense, too, from Johnson, doing it all tonight.
Brown's been excellent for the Phoenix this evening. Here comes Georgia Williams with it. Gets inside. She's blocked by Brown. And here's another baseball pass. Nice.
That is a heck of a pass.
That was right on the money for Hurst to catch it off the bounce. Good recovery and finish, too, by Hurst.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's an issue with the shot clock there, so referees blow the whistle.
Bit of an issue with the shot clock. We're going to resume Ipswich ball on the side.
So they're going to reset the shot clock. Looks like it's going to go to 17 for Ipswich with 4:30 to go. Mazia Knight setting the screen for Williams. She goes over to Farley. Now Johnson, step back jump shot is too strong. Bishop with the rebound. Bishop hands off for Hurst. Now out to Bishop. Power dribble, gets inside, flips one up. It's too short.
I think when you're really, really good, sometimes you can take bumps that other girls would get contact for. Abby Bishop could easily have another 5 or 6 foul shots tonight, just but she's so good you just don't realize she's getting fouled as well.
And Ipswich Force have definitely been quite physical with Bishop this evening. You can see her chatting to the referee. She's getting a little frustrated, having a look at the yellow slap on the arm. Referees look like there might maybe some blood on Brown. I'm not sure. Murphy checked back in for Brown. 8 points the lead for Ipswich. Mazia Knight gets it in good position inside. Nearly lost it.
There is a very long 3-second count on Ipswich's offensive end tonight. Those girls are camping out down there.
You can hear, we heard earlier Coach Hauser asking for the 3-second call as Hurst's floater is too strong.
I think he needs to ask again. But this game has been fantastic to watch, but at 10 points, 3 minutes left, Ipswich possession, it's in danger of just slipping just out of reach of the Phoenix, so they can't get a couple of stops here.
Oh, they get a turnover as Johnson gets called for an illegal screen. That's her third personal. Brown back in for the Phoenix. Bishop sets the screen, then gets it back from Hurst and resets. Hurst gets it over to Saunders. Baseline jumper is good.
Number 6, Natalie Saunders.
It's a lot of dribbling from that Hurst, isn't it, on those possessions? Just
Well, she commands so much attention. She really does open up lanes and possessions for her teammates. Johnson hit the deck hard. She really tried to force her way inside. Referee's having a discussion.
Foul there was on number 12.
That went against Gigi Mazianite. That reach-in foul. It's the third team foul for Ipswich. Force up by 8, 77-69. We've got about 2:40 left in this game. Clock certainly not in the Phoenix favor. Bishop uses the pump fake, skips it out to Clancy on the wing. She drives baseline, flips one up. It's too strong. Bishop there, though, for the
great
follow.
hands.
2 points there for number 5, Abby Bishop.
6-point game, Johnny. Still plenty of time left for the Phoenix. I just said a minute ago that it was just slipping away, but a couple of buckets and a couple of stops, things change very quickly.
Picking up the defensive pressure as well are the Phoenix. Hazy Knight inside.
They are just camping out down there, man. I would be upset if I was guarding her.
Foul goes against Natalie Saunders. Third team foul. You see Ipswich, though, certainly has been all night making a concerted effort to establish that position inside, and they're doing a good job finding them in as Farley's open for 3. That's an air ball, though, and Nat Hurst recovers, looking to push for the Phoenix. She'll step into a long 3.
Wow.
That's an air ball at the other end. You accept that if you're the Phoenix, though, because that would have been a huge bucket for Sunshine
You have
Coast.
to accept it, and you trust a girl like that to make a good decision. And you're right, it could have been a massive momentum changer, but still plenty of time to get it back and recover from that.
It's a 6-point lead for Ipswich, 77-71. The floor wipers clean up a bit of moisture underneath the Phoenix basket. Brown giving them a bit of assistance. It's going to be an interesting minute 48 here if you're the Phoenix. You don't necessarily have, you want to be aggressive, but you got to be careful you don't want to foul too much. Because the clock, you got to get a stop. .12 on the shot clock. Williams has it. Now Head forces her way inside, stripped by Hurst. Here comes Nat Hurst. She's going to step into a wing 3.
Wow.
It's good.
How about that on the possession after an air ball? Massive bucket. Wow.
Huge bucket. Nat Hurst definitely not lacking for confidence. The Force take a timeout, Dan. I want to keep it here, though, with a minute 23 to go in the game. And the lead up to 3. If you're Coach George in this timeout, what are you saying to your troops for the Force?
That's a great question. But I think what's got them to the point we're in so far is if we look up at the board, they've got a couple of girls inside doing amazing work, and I think they have to be the focus still. So with a minute 20 left, you might have 4 or 5 possessions maybe left in the game. In Ipswich ball here, so I think they need to be efficient like they've been all night, grind out an offense where they get the ball inside to one of their 2 bigs, who've done such a great job tonight so far, and maybe use up 15, 16 seconds and put the pressure on the Phoenix to maybe have to foul and get to the foul. That's what I'd be doing. What I would not want to do is settle for a long jump shot after 5, 6 seconds of an offense. So we'll see what they come out with, but that would be the approach I would think. And Johnson, number 12, whose name I can't pronounce as well as you, John. Those would be the 2. Exactly. Gigi. They would be the 2 I'd be going to after a good 12, 13 seconds of offense here.
for the Phoenix. You don't necessarily want to foul, but you have a couple fouls to give. 1:23 left. Both teams sitting on 3 team fouls here in the fourth quarter. It's shaping up for an exciting finish, Dan. Looked like the Force might pull away, but Sunny Coast has done a good job to get within 3.
They sure have. And this is what we said earlier. When you have girls playing 40 minutes, you just want to give yourself a chance to compete at the end of a game, and they've done exactly that. So they'll like their chances from here, and if they can get a stop here, it's even better.
Mate finishes with the right hand. That's a good take from Rachel Mate. Lead back up to 5 for Ipswich.
Well, it wasn't one of the 2 I thought, but they got the ball on the rim, and a turnover there is costly.
That really hurts. Little miscommunication as Brown cutting to the basket. Bishop thought she was going to flare. And now Ipswich can look to run it under a minute. They're up 5 still. Mate gets it back. She slips. Maisie Knight goes inside.
That's a
Johnson.
long 3-second count again, but doesn't hurt Phoenix on this occasion.
Phoenix need a quick one here. Hurst fires a deep 3. That's off. It's tipped around.
Oh, great rebound. Kate Head battling down there. Got a possession for her team.
And stripped out of bounds there by Natalie Saunders. And now Phoenix have to foul, you would think, down 5 with 36 to go.
Well, you feel like that turnover and then that missed shot makes it very difficult from here. But, you know, a couple of missed foul shots, that's the great thing about our game, John. Anything can happen.
Certainly can. Let's see if Sunny Coast can come up with a quick steal, maybe. Quick bucket, that'd be all right. That's certainly what you'd expect them to be looking for here. And like we said, they do have 2 fouls to give. They only have 3 on the quarter so far.
Just like the song says, put your hands together for Ipswich Force women in the final seconds of the game.
No foul yet from the Phoenix. Johnson working some shot clock. Playing it straight up are the Sunny Coast Phoenix, and there's the foul. It's going to be on Bishop against Maisie Knight.
Foul there by number 5.
It's very late. I'm surprised they waited so long to foul.
Especially when you're not in the bonus yet, so they've got to foul twice to have a chance to get the ball back. So I agree. I thought they would have fouled a lot sooner as well.
Now you almost have to foul right away. Saunders.
Can't be Abby Bishop, though. She can't foul. She'll be done.
Here's the double team. It's stripped out of bounds. Going to stay with Ipswich. 6 seconds to go. They still haven't fouled. Game is at 12 seconds to go now.
6 seconds, sorry, on the clock.
6 seconds on the shot clock for Ipswich. Johnson. They still don't foul. Johnson step back 3. It's up. It's short. Phoenix have to push forward. Hurst out to Bishop. 3-pointers up. It's no good, and that ends the game for the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. They go down 79-74. A very, very confusing 30 seconds there. Don't know what happened to the Phoenix. They just let the clock run out. Really, I'm shocked by that, Dan, because they were in it. They certainly had enough time to foul, get Ipswich on the free throw line, and to recover and get some points on the board as well.
I think that's why at practice, it's always important too to do situational scrimmages. We all scrimmage at practice, but maybe put a minute on the clock. You're down 2. Let's scrimmage that. So it seems like the Phoenix weren't quite sure how to approach that position in the game, but they'll be better for it. And it's round 10. They've got time to learn from it. So good quality game. Both teams did really well, and they showed why they're top 4 teams in the league. I was impressed by both of them, and it was a great game to watch.
I was certainly impressed, but I'm still in shock that there was no foul there whatsoever. There was no communication coming from the bench to the players on the court. You have veteran players 100%, but still you need some direction from the coaching staff. You have to communicate what you want to do. I can't imagine that they wanted to let the shot clock run out. They only had 30 seconds and they were down 5.
It's funny, we've got the 2 studs from the Phoenix just saying, I'm just trying to talk to you. Some frustration from Nat Hurst maybe, but Abby Bishop having some better luck down there. Looks like a more constructive conversation, but always frustrating when you have a close loss like that.
I was definitely close. The Phoenix dropped that one in a tight one, 79-74. We'll take a look at some statistics here, Dan, for the game. Ipswich shot 43% from the field. They only hit on 25% from three, but they did a pretty good job. Got to the free throw line 9 times at 88%, so you'd be happy with that. They're led by Amanda Johnson's 22 points and 19 rebounds. A really impressive performance from Johnson. She struggled a bit, only hitting on 7 of 22 attempts, 2 of 9 from 3. But she did grab 6 offensive rebounds, and a lot of those led to second chance points.
Sure did.
She was joined in double digits for Ipswich. Georgia Williams finished with 15 points, and Gigi Mazia-Knight finished with 10. But again, and Rachel Maid finished with 11. You look at the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, they were led by Abby Bishop, 25 points and 13 rebounds. Also had 6 assists and a couple of steals. Nat Hurst had 21 points, 8 rebounds and 7 assists. And then another double figures for Sunshine Coast. Amy Brown had 14 and Caitlin Clancy with 10, but it just wasn't enough here. A really good game, though, by 2 teams in the top 5, Dan. Final thoughts before we wrap things up.
I think you've captured it, Johnny. It was a really high-quality game, and I think both teams showed that there's a lot of room for improvement still, especially in those situational things like we spoke about at the end of the game, but they also showed a lot of class and why they're, top 4, top 5 teams in the league. So really good signs for them both, and I'm impressed. These Ipswich girls were great, protected home court, bounced back after that tough loss to Townsville and did what they needed to do. But Abby Bishop from the Phoenix, to me, is a superstar, and just love watching her play. So a great game of QBL basketball tonight, and I look forward to seeing how these teams go the rest of the season.
Yeah, we'll have the Sunshine Coast Phoenix in the round 14 matchup against the Spartans. That'll be another excellent women's matchup. But that wraps it up for us here. Next week, we will have the Brisbane Capitals against the Rockhampton Cyclones. That'll be Sunday morning at 11 a.m. But we will also have the men's game coming up shortly between the Ipswich Force and the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Just want to thank Dan George on the call with me, also Regan Baker on the production panel, Chris Sieber on the camera. As always, James Bowman down in Sydney from the Australian Sports Network for his technical support and all the graphics. I'm John Guarna. Thanks everyone for tuning in to another presentation of QBL Basketball on the Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.